Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order, and there were no decisions made in the executive session. Do you have anything else?
I don't.
How about old business?
Well, we already did that.
Okay. And then Rance is not here, Eddie's not here.
Yeah, if Rodney wants to, that's fine.
Rodney, you want to come up?
Pardon? No?
You want to go?
Okay.
A whole hour early, how do you like that?
First off, have you set up your budget meeting yet for public discussion?
No.
You have not
The
established
auditor
it?
will be your next meeting.
I see. Okay. One of the things that was discussed on TV this week was Consumer Price Index. And the year-to-date raise is 5.4% as of the end of May. On Monday, they reported the June monthly as 0.9, which means that CPI index has rose 6.4% this year. That's going to have a direct impact on your gasoline and oil prices next year. So, engineering department, sheriff's department, and the ambulance service are going to potentially have to be scrutinized very closely on the cost that they will need to run those essential services. Second thing that I wanted to discuss is Kansas statute 19-406. And this is the levy of taxes by hospital boards. Have you received the hospital board's request for next year?
For what?
Pardon?
For
Budget?
For the budget, yes.
6 mills.
Pardon?
6 mills.
6 mills?
It's always what it's been.
Okay. Let me see, I think I have extra copies here. Yeah. Here, for the attorney. Okay. In paragraph A, about halfway down, I'm going to read this. If the commission, or in the case of an elected board, may levy such tax in any amount not exceeding 6 mills in any year without an election as provided in subsection C. Then it goes on to say, in the event that the commission or the board proposes to levy such a tax in the amount which exceeds 2 mills but is less than 6 mills in any year, such proposition shall be published once each week for 2 consecutive weeks in the official county newspaper. If within 30 days after the last publication of the proposition, a petition signed by not less than 5% of the electors of the county who voted in the last office, a Secretary of State, or the last preceding general election, an election thereon, no such levy shall be made unless the proposition is submitted to and approved by a majority of the voters of the county voting at an election held thereon. Now, you said they have proposed 6 mills.
The county voted years and years ago. They could go up to 12 mills. And they've always just took 6 mills.
But
But
my
they can
question,
go to 12 mills.
okay. My question is, the statute, there's another statute that says that the hospital board has to have their proposed budget into use by 1 June. Do you have the,
Is that a county hospital or is that, because a lot of these hospitals are run by the county. Is that a county
No,
hospital or
no.
is it a hospital that's,
hospital board?
Why are you questioning it? Why didn't you do something when you were commissioner? It's been going on while you were
This
there.
just got changed. This just got changed
Well, it can't affect us.
in 2020.
Well,
And I read in the paper like yesterday, some of this county has already done parts of the budget that pertain to this county. But I have seen nothing in our county newspaper over the last 6 weeks about when the budget hearings are going to be held here for the county. This concerns me.
it's because we're waiting on the auditor. The
Pardon?
auditor does our budget, we're waiting on him. How are we supposed to do anything until our auditors tell us?
You guys can form a proposed budget and have it ready to submit to the auditors.
we did.
We already submitted the
We met
budget to
with
him.
department heads, they gave us their budgets, what they wanted. I emailed it to our auditor puts together our budget. We do not do our budget, the auditor does.
And then once that.
I'm
once
sorry, that
budget-
doesn't fulfill the requirements of the statute.
We don't have a
In-
representative.
Rodney, in what way doesn't it fulfill this?
Pardon?
I don't understand how they are in compliance with statute.
I'm sorry.
I don't understand. What do you mean they are, you're saying that they aren't in compliance with the statute? How?
Okay.
We don't have a representative of the newspaper coming in anymore, like when we were in here.
Pardon?
We don't have a representative from the newspaper coming in, and Elmer brought that up at the last meeting, so you're not going to hear about a lot of the stuff because it's not being put in the paper.
Okay. Did I give you the 407? The 407, where it says prior to June 1st, they will submit their budget.
Where is that?
You have the 06? Okay.
Action on the subject of the aggregate maximum prescribed by law and of the commission. But we're not going to exceed the 6 mils either, though.
And Scott, what is that you publish in the paper, that you publish about the certified?
Members,
What do you mean?
Isn't there a document that you publish that has all the bills set out?
Yes, that's after the budget is finished.
Okay.
But the budget hearing is also published in the newspaper when we have it set.
Right.
It's the budget process, I have to be notified by the 20th if somebody is going over the R&R rate. And then each one of those entities that goes over has their own budget hearing.
So you're saying we're not in compliance with the state?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be honest with you, I don't really understand what you're saying here. You're saying we're not in compliance, but we haven't had our budget hearing. I mean, we haven't had our auditor give us the budget.
There are things that happen prior to a budget hearing. That is called budget preparation. This falls under those procedures that are accomplished prior to the hearing.
Okay.
And some of them are statutory. It's like here, it says, prior to June 1 of each year, the board shall prepare a budget showing the amount it deems necessary to operate, equip, maintain, and improve the hospital for the ensuing fiscal year, and the amount of that portion thereof that it deems necessary to be raised by tax authorized under KSA 19-4606. Now, that was the first statute I gave you.
Scott, are we still doing 6 mils and 1% for the hospital of the sales
Yeah,
tax?
they get 6
Okay.
mils. And then it was
Is this,
voted on that they could ask for another 6 mils.
it kind of depends on how you read this, because I kind of read it like we're not doing any additional, but maybe I'm reading it wrong.
No, you're right.
But I just think that since we're not going up or down on the mills, I think we're within the parameters of this. That's just how I read it. But this is good to know.
Quite honestly, I think this is an auditor situation whereby we need to contact the auditors and run this past them, get their opinion, and proceed accordingly.
Did you hear her?
If you need to call the auditors, Brian's your contact point with Mason Miller, according to the contract. He can review those 2 statutes and give you insight on that.
Okay.
Well, I, for one, would need to talk to somebody else because I don't really fully understand it.
Well, what,
Rodney, here's the situation. You're not going to get an answer today.
I know that.
Because coming in here without giving us a heads up as to what exactly you want to visit about, you're
Yeah.
catching us cold.
Right.
And so we don't have time to adequately prepare to answer your questions when you come to the meetings and just say, here's the statute, here's the
Yeah,
statute,
yeah.
here's this, here's that. We've got to have time to look into this, see what's going on, get all the information we deem necessary so that we can give an informed answer to your questions.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get an answer today because we're going to have to we'll contact the auditors, we'll look at these statutes, we'll be in contact with the hospital board and see what's going on. And if there is something amiss, it'll get fixed. If everything's okay, it'll stay the same way.
Yeah, I
Okay.
fully understand that.
All right.
Yeah. Because what I don't want to see is the commissioners put into the position where you have to hold a special election because a petition has been submitted opposing the 6% that you feel they have already requested.
The 6 mills, you
For
mean?
the 6 mills,
Okay.
say,
But that
I
petition-
don't want to see
but that-
a necessary
but, Rodney,
burden.
that petition has to be signed by at least 5% of the electors.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the voters, sorry.
Yeah. So, that's in the statute there. So
Right, but
We don't need that.
are you saying you're gonna carry a petition around the county
No,
to
no,
get
no,
5%?
no, I don't want to see
Oh.
that happen.
Okay,
No. Good God. I don't want to see our county burdened with that. I don't want that.
right, well, no one
I
has the
like our
intention of
hospital.
doing anything
Right.
incorrectly.
Don't get me wrong here. I like our
Okay.
hospital. I'm concerned about the dollar amounts here and the potential for disaster to happen. And I think it can be
What?
avoided.
Why don't we go ahead and run it by our auditor and see what he says, and
Okay,
then we'll let you
because
know.
I think the statute allows you to return that to them and be gentlemen and say, gentlemen, we understand that nobody was fully aware of these 2 changes in the statutes.
Right.
We will grant you 2 mills, which is in here, and by golly, help them make it up next year. I mean, the following year. That's a potential solution.
No,
And I'll let you
you
go.
can grant up to 6 mills without an election.
Pardon?
You can grant, I mean, they can request up to 6 mills without having an election. It's only if you go above the 6 mills that you have to have an election.
If they approve the 6 mills, then they have to put it in the paper and tell the population that they have approved 6 mills, okay? And at that point, you've got all of these statutory time periods, which will take you beyond August 15th, which is our budget deadline. Do you see the ramifications building up on the timeline here?
We will definitely look into it and
Okay.
get it taken care
Okay.
of. Okay?
Yeah.
All
thank you,
right.
Thank you.
All right, Rodney, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Mr. Eddie, you ready? Morning, everybody.
Morning, Eddie.
There's been some activity up there. Sowers has been working on the boiler system. I don't think he's got it complete. Brock's done the sidewalk and the drainage going to the east side. And they've received a grant for $26,000 to upgrade the computers and the Wi-Fi going to the west wing. And they don't have good connectivity over there, and so they telemedicine calls and stuff they're dropping. And so they're not sure what our share will be, but it's probably $8,000, but it's something that they need, so,
For the telemedicine, you're saying?
yeah.
Did we ever get that fire door fixed, done?
No, but they're painted.
Okay.
He was supposed to do it yesterday, but install them. But,
But he is working,
yeah.
okay.
And then need to get some bids on extending a drainage wall, and do a curb on the west side over there to clean that up a little bit. And we're in the process of getting bids for flooring in the west wing and smoke detectors for the apartments. The outfit from Hayes that's been servicing those is going to quit servicing that. They're that old, so those will need replaced. So we're getting bids on that.
Are you going CO2 as well?
Yes, yes. It's a combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. And Brock, I would like to have Brock replace some sidewalk on that west side. They cut that out several months ago, and it just needs
That was the stair, well, I mean, right where the ramp came down?
Yes, that just needs done. That would be under the $1,500 anyway, so. while he's up there, I would like to have that finished up, so. So I guess
So that $8,000,
that's an estimate. They weren't sure what that would be.
is that part of that grant money or?
Yeah, it's a matching funds type of thing.
So it's like an 80-20 or 70-30
Yeah.
or something.
You gonna get an estimate from Brock for the drainage wall and the curve since he's up there now? Okay.
I was supposed to have it by
Okay.
9 this morning.
Okay.
Are we still having trouble getting other bidders, or is it?
Yes, and on that flooring, I mean, we'll try to get 3 bids on that flooring, obviously. And we'll see what that bid comes in on that fire and that fire detection stuff, smoke and stuff, but they do the other service work there, and they're from Hayes, and so we would like to keep that. One call does it all, if possible.
Yeah.
Be nicer, I guess.
Yes,
It's always easier.
yes. So, is there any other questions?
Did the chairs arrive?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It was like a 3 or 4 week delivery,
Oh, okay.
so I doubt that they're there, but maybe.
Do you want that check?
Yeah.
Shoot that.
Okay, very good,
Stuff
thank you.
in there.
I'll do that.
And everything else over there, how's that going?
Things are going pretty good. Daphne McTague is doing a good job. You know, she's an interim administrator. She will take her test and stuff.
Where are you at on occupancy?
We're on like 95%, so that's looking good. That helps the cash flow.
I thought I just heard this morning the restaurant was full. Is it?
It might be. It was short one a week ago. That's all I know. With the COVID stuff, I don't go in there every day.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I was told this morning, and I don't know. But
So I know it's closed if not. So, I guess, appreciate what you do for us. That's what we got.
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, thanks for your hard work.
Okay, so we'll see you next meeting probably, if I get bids.
They're pretty hard to come by now.
Yeah, they are. So, thank you for your time, everybody.
Have a good
Okay,
day.
Thank you, Rodney. We're going to take a break till Tim gets
might
in.
not be coming, huh?
No, he's not.
Oh, you know?
No.
Oh, yeah, how did you find that?
Scott's sitting when we got here.
We'll take a break. Oh, what do you think?